Welcome back to A Windy City They Tan Watch, the channel where truth meets freedom, right here in the heart of Chicago. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay updated with our latest investigations, interviews, and insights. Your support fuels our fight for freedom and truth. So, let's dive into today's journey, armed with knowledge and the relentless spirit of the Windy City.
Howdy folks, Windy City They Tan Watch. We're heading over to the organization, waiting for some traffic. Sorry about that. Car just came across when he shouldn't have, but life goes on. How's everybody doing today? If you're here on the live, go ahead and hit that like, see if we can pull some more folks in. And if you're here on the replay, thank you very much. And go ahead and leave a comment. Let the YouTube algorithm know that we're engaging. We are walking down Harrison. So we're, 3 blocks away from Clark Street. So back home, I just had a conference to go to on Monday. So while I was out there, decided to take advantage of what we were doing. Hello, Fuzzy. Hey, Mods, how you doing? Hey, Corn. Hello, D. So the thumbnail today was about a radio show that Steve Cochran had, and his guest was Neil Steinberg. And Neil Steinberg wrote the Sun-Times article the week after the Ideal Org opened here, and it was, hey, give Scientology a break. And part of the, they opened up with, hey, I don't care what religion you are, and I'm going to say right now, I don't care what religion you are either. It's really hard for me to understand that people can categorize Scientology as a religion. And let me go back to, I probably do care a little bit about your religion, that if you're extremist in your views on that religion, then I think you're, I do have a problem with your religion then. I've made the statement before. Lutheranism is Christianity. The KKK is Christianity. Those are not similar organizations, even though they both claim to be Christian organizations. In the interview, Neil, who wrote the article, was saying things like, hey, if you're that worried about the church and you're doing this, you might be just as cultic as they are. If you're an anti-Scientologist, you're just as culty as they are. And why do you care that the church does this? Like, wait a second. These crimes are very physical, very traumatic, and they harm people. I don't think it's okay that we let that go. They did mention about, choir boys and Catholicism. And, yep, the Catholics had some problems, and the Catholics tried to hide that. They eventually had to kind of come forward and explain that they were hiding the priests. But I think that atone is a wrong term, right? They come to grips with it and admit that they had bad practices and are working to resolve those. This cult has never admitted to their bad practices, even though they've been caught at them before. So, and again, I'm not saying, let's go trash. Okay, so this is Cisco. Cisco is a restaurant, restaurant supply truck. So I don't think that has anything to do with Scientology on there. So we'll head over to the front of the org. But it's a short interview. It might be like a 6-minute interview that you're hearing on there. And they both talk about the idea that, right, big deal, let it blow over. If congratulations, somebody was able to open something in the South Loop. And those types of statements. But it's like, but they cause harm. They cause genuine harm. And I don't think that we're culty for trying to oppose this church and stand in the way of it growing. That we're doing good for the community in not allowing them to continually abuse children and abuse the elder and commit financial crimes and traffic humans and cover up crimes and abuses. So most of that was just so that we'd be able to spend some time before I got over the org. It's a nice day here in Chicago, mid-60s. Yeah, there was that. Now, Neil made a statement, and I'm going to agree with this to a small degree, that everybody was worried that, hey, it's opening up next to a college. And his statement was, well, train your children right? His kids went to some city in New York. I think they went to NYC and said, hey, they had to go to Washington Square. And that's more of a violence space than a corrupt space or an odd church space. But yeah, there is some parental obligation there in that space. But I wouldn't want to put my kids in this position. So we're over at the org. We've got securities in there, probably Blue Star. He'll be out here to close the doors soon, I assume. Or he'll help the team put... oh, is that Jessica's back? Oh, look. Just a second, as soon as we get them to close this, they're handing out flyers. So that looks like Jess. Yeah, it is Jessica. We are going to go on a walk. They're a cult. It's the cult of Scientology. I know. They'll probably kind of split directions as we head over here. Sorry, we couldn't I didn't want to stick around the org to pull down the shades. I'd rather thwart the efforts of these people trying to hand out elements. Maybe I'll let Jessica know that her initiate has quit and came out very staunchly, did the research. Remember, the one in the middle is the one that escorted the person away from me. It's the cult of Scientology. That's Scientology. You don't want that. They won't tell you they're Scientology, but they are Scientology. They're Scientology. That's the cult of Scientology. They're not going to tell you they're Scientology, but that's Scientology. They're going to try and draw you in. They're going to take all your money. They commit crimes, elder abuse, child abuse, financial frauds. They're the ones that Danny Masterson, they hid his victims. They wouldn't let his victims come forward to the police for 20 years. So that's what they're trying to pull you into. And everybody, I'm going to keep saying, I'm keeping a very respectful distance. I won't approach them quickly. They have every right to hand things out. I have every right to share information I understand about that organization. Yes. I love this. I don't even have to do my job anymore. These people know better. Hello, Kat. We are, again, the org is across the street. I wasn't able to kind of stand out there and get the shades closed, but I thought it was more important that I follow the people handing out flyers. They've got the free personality test is what they're offering to hand out. Nobody wants the Scientology flyers? Hey, Jules, how you doing? Hey, Jay, Pat. They're on the phone, so I just want to keep on reiterating, I'm keeping a very safe distance. I am not approaching them. I'm not encroaching upon them. It's the Church of Scientology. It's the Church of Scientology. It's the Church of Scientology. It's a cult. They're going to draw you in. Undefeated. Okay. Wonder if I should let Jessica again know that we were able to thwart her efforts with the person she escorted away from me. Hey, police, when you watch the video, please realize I've kept a respectful distance. I am only exercising my First Amendment right, just as they have a First Amendment right to advertise their church, which, by the way, they're hiding the idea that they're advertising their church. I just want to be able to give people additional information as they're handed these flyers. But it does answer another question. So I haven't seen Jessica since she left, or since she escorted that person away. Hello, Quiz. So we're back in Chicago. I went to the org. As I got to the org, the people were coming out with their flyers. So I'm going to follow the people with their flyers. I do think that they are collaborating with them. Hello, officers. When we replay the video, please recognize that I am keeping a respectful distance. We'll see if they do the... Hey, Trash, how you doing? Great video last night. So it's you definitely saw right when I would let people know what this flyer is all about. They're like, "Ooh, ick." Cult of Scientology. Hey, nobody tell Osa, but why not split up? Last night, if you were watching Aaron, you would have seen the trove of documents that Trasher was able to retrieve, and he and SRA were out that night. So severe reality adjustment. I spent quite a bit of time. I found several of the names on Facebook. I did find the, what is it? Big Shoulders. There's a Facebook group that I think it's called Big Shoulders. And that was the 2015 effort. If you remember a week or so ago, I did the I did the video on the 2005 event where they first started raising money, and that was Randy Kretschmer, I think. Jeff McGee. So Kretschmer and McGee were both humanitarians, donating 100,000. We can see the older woman across the street, Scientology, with the green bag. So she's got the cane. 100%. And I agree. You shouldn't be afraid to go back there. I even was kind of thinking, well, just even though Big Tough Guy was back there guarding the garbage can, lift it up again. Go back in. It's free stuff. Thank you. Ain't that the truth? So here we're seeing inside. Actually, you might be able to see in pretty well today because there's not that much light. It's a little bit overcast out here. Well, we're in the shade anyhow. We've got 3 or 4 people at the admin desk here. A couple people at the coffee counter back there. Please don't block the sidewalk. Let the people come through. Is that one of the guys that was in there? Don't give them your real name when you go in there. They're going to put you on a mailing list and going to take all your money. It's a cult of Scientology. They won't tell you they're Scientology, but they're Scientology. So the guard just went, there's a woman here who could easily use help, and the guard went right back in, right? Oh, thank you. Can you at least help her, right? You doing all right? Does church help you very much? So I do have every expectation that we're going to get a visit. Yeah. Hey Saul, how you doing? What's even worse, what's sad about that scenario was the construction worker came to them. So their buddies who we just met on the corner down here at Polk. There was the 3 of them. They had each gotten the ticket. I gave them the spiel about what the cult is. and some of the bad actions and crimes that this church is willing to do. Now, just out of curiosity, I'm going to head down to the end of the street to see if they closed the blinds so they had better access to the back door. So I might be boring you for a little bit. I'm going to kind of walk back and forth between Clark Street and the alley, just to see if we can see them come out again. Yeah. I don't know why this isn't clicking correctly. So it seemed like my finger touches were off. My touch assist was off. I need to get my TRs in. We're just going to head down to Polk Street. I just want to gaze into the alley, see if those flyers came out the back door. That was another member there. And we did see that I was able to bring the shades down. I haven't closed the door yet. Sorry. So they haven't really come out they haven't come out the alley yet. Folks, it might be a little bit boring, but I'm gonna walk back and forth here a couple of times. So just a recap of what we had so far. Talk a little bit about an interview that a local radio host had with the person who wrote I won't say it was a glowing review of Scientology, but a very moderate view of Scientology, and missed some of the key points with the crimes of Scientology. Then we got over here, and just as I was going to get them to close the front door and the blinds, they had the flyer brigade. There were 3 of them. There was the male person of color, a female person of color who I don't know. So the male person of color, I see him out all the time. Female person of color, and then Jessica. And a reminder on Jessica. Jessica is the one that tried to escort the person away from me. But I did tell him all the way down the street what the crimes were. And he sent me a message back through YouTube that he did his research when he got home, and he said, yeah, he's not going to join the church. So that's good. Yeah, so there's nobody there. Trash, I need you and SRI. I need the skateboard brigade down here. I'm playing zone defense. Speaking of, how'd you guys do in the brackets? Not even sure if people in our chat are really even aware of sports. While we were walking around, Jessica was on the phone. I assume it was back with whoever the supervisor would have been in the org. Oh, one thing I want to start asking, if I want to see if we can figure out the names of some of these people, and it's not for doxing purposes. I'm not at all willing to give out names and addresses, but I'd like to call them by their name, rather than dopey Scientology guy or dopey Scientology gal. And I typically don't call them that. I just think that. So the alley is empty right now. When I first came up, I can't remember if it was Cisco or if it was one of the other restaurant supply companies were in there, and they were supplying Pat's Pizza. Remembering that if we go north from the org, we have the college, Dunkin' Donuts, and Pat's Pizza. And if we go south, we end up at Paisan's. And then a couple more restaurants further down here. Whoops, sorry. Yes, hi, Osa. And that's, yeah, I wonder, I just don't know how that operates and everything there. And I hope that didn't feel ageist, but I don't know if you saw the woman who entered the org just after the three flyer folks came back. She crossed the street in the middle, which, by the way, super dangerous because she is not mobile. And when she got to the Scientology side of the street, it took her 3 shots to walk up that curb. I mean, she has limited strength and limited mobility. And that's, I don't mean to sound ageist. I'll say that we saw that she was struggling to do that. And I'm going to tell you that that guard should have been out there offering an arm of support, or any of the Scientologists, because remember, Scientologists help people. Oh, if only she was able-bodied, because they will make the able more able. But if you're not able-bodied, they just don't care about you. Yeah, I think that's a true statement, but I'm also going to say that I'm seeing an awful lot of young kids. Now, Easter, I'm going to go with, I don't know that those Easter people will return. But we had the woman with her 2 children, right? The boys, maybe 8 and 14. They were in here 2 nights for 6 hours each. And I know this isn't Sea Org, but when she gets involved in Scientology, what do you think she's going to indoctrinate her children to do? Now, I will say on Easter, before I was seeing civilians come in, they had left the back door open. If you go back to the Easter video, they left the back door open for 2 minutes or so. And all you saw was children kind of running around wrong, right? That they were kind of moving in and out between the poles. It looked like, if I was guessing, they were playing tag. Right? That's what it looked like. Yeah, I'm sure they have no idea what the AMA is. Not AMA, ADA. Howdy, Fluffer. A little bit about California, right? So this past Monday, I was at a conference in California. Monday night, I went to the org, and they're both ideal orgs, which I guess I keep on thinking, Austin's a skyscraper, or Chicago a skyscraper, a tall building. This is a tall building. So I'm just always expecting large urban buildings as the ideal orgs. But it was a big space, right? So it was an entire unit in a strip mall or in a professional buildings space. So the Monday night we went to Los Gatos, the cats, and they had the all are welcome. I was able to get them to close the doors before I went live. At first, I wanted to kind of go stealth so that they wouldn't know that I was coming and couldn't really prep for it. They closed the doors while I was on that, and that was only like a 5-minute video. And then I then walked around the building. We saw a couple of people enter. California is a car society. And I think that everybody would have driven, so I wouldn't have gotten foot traffic, really. Then I walked around back. They have an alley, or not an alley. They have a cafe at the back. And the cafe was empty. They eventually did call the police. The police arrived. I did get a trespass warning. I do have a complaint number on that. I haven't called back to, it takes 48 hours for that to get into the system. I haven't called back to get that report sent to me. And then the next morning, I went out to Silicon Valley. Well, it's really in Mountain View. And if you leave Mountain View going north towards the 101, you end up in a dead end, Scientology. And that is their Silicon Valley ideal org. And that one is 2 buildings. One of them is the chapel, and there's an entrance that is just for the Purification Center. So there's an entrance with, it says Purification Center over the top of it. The other entrance in that building was the chapel. And then the other building was basically a test center, or what we've been seeing, here, LA, Portland, where you've got the banks of video snippets where L. Ron Hubbard or one of the other minions has recorded something. Not sure if any of those are still Brisker produced or directed. Hello, Israel. Always good to see you. And I always appreciate you being out here. Oh, Jessica's back out. Let's see what her reaction is as I await her down here. Looks like she's talking to a new initiate. How about it? Yep. Now I can't tell if she kind of just motioned the person. I think you want to go the other way. So she's directing towards me. Don't listen to that guy. It's a cult. Es una secta. Es una secta. It's a cult. Ask her about the organization. Go online and research. The last person that she did this to was able to do the research. She called me back and said he wasn't going to join the church. Sorry about that, Jess. I did walk off the sidewalk and let them pass by. I did not block the sidewalk. So also remember when you show the video to the police? Hello, Mexican long hair. How are you doing today? So far today, we've been out here for what, 30 minutes? When I got to the org, the front door was open and the blinds were up. Just as I was going to kind of alert the front desk that I was there, they had 3 people walk out to pass out flyers. They did pass out flyers for a while. I followed them, so I couldn't get them to close the blinds right off the bat. Um, so now we've got the blinds are closed, and they've still got the door open here. So I followed them around. They handed out flyers for a bit. I was able to contact everybody they handed them out to. Now, one person did come back, and they did go inside. So they've got somebody in there taking the personality test. Then when I did come back, I was able to get them to pull the shades. So that was good. We saw one of the older staff members struggle to get across the street. And nobody came out to help them. Even though it's a church that helps everybody, nobody came out to help that person. We just saw Jessica walk by. She wanted to point me out to the person and let him know that, hey, I'm going to distract him from her purpose. I'm going to head back down there because, again, I just don't know if they're going to try and blow people out the back door. So I'm going to spend more time down on Polk right now. Yeah, I'm going to give tomorrow to Trashka and SRA. It sounds like there's going to be rain. They do better with that than I do. It messes up my hair. And I'm somewhat curious to see what direction that the guy that she escorted down here was going. That's got to be an odd situation. When you leave the church, I've got to escort you a block to get you out of the blast radius of any of the information or any of the truths that you're going to hear. And something I'd like to add, this is not a call for fund. If you feel so inclined, that's great. I was able to create a PayPal account finally, so I now have PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. This money isn't to enrich me; it's to pay for Ubers to get around California, for an example. The posters that I buy, the train tickets. So, if you feel so inclined, that's awesome. Don't feel compelled. The reason I'm out here is I just want to make sure that it's hard for this church to grow. I want to do my part to make sure that new people are well informed before they're indoctrinated into the lies that this church is going to foist upon them. I need to find somebody who lives in one of these buildings around here and pay for their internet for a month so that I can put a webcam on the front door, just to allow me to see when they're coming in and when they're going out. Is orange shirt across the street? Is that the guy that came in? So the cops have stopped down here. I'm going to wait here to let them get their story straight. License plate 19594, car number 7908. The guy in orange, I wonder if he's the construction guy that came back over here. while these guys are trying to figure out what they're going to do, I'm going to head over to the alley real quick. If you see in the chat, we've got Israel Brownfield. I'm sorry, Brownstein. That is also his channel name, just no spaces. So if you can head over to his channel, we're trying to boost him so that he can get up to going live. This looks more like a resident than a church member. What I'm always surprised by when police contact us is the idea that this church was just involved in the Danny Masterson case, where the church would not allow its members to come forward and talk to the police. So I'm giving the guy in orange a wide berth because I feel like when they went in, they gave him the, hey, go make that guy follow you and go get the stalking charge. Great job. Israel's up to 60. Awesome. Yeah, had Shelly just come to me, I could have helped her with a computer. Thank you, Deja. Heading back to the, awesome job, Fluffer. Yeah, I'm basically wondering if the cop might not have known that I was down there and if he was going to sit down there and just kind of look from a distance to see if I would do any violations. Which again, at the lapdog behest of the church, the police are out here trying to help them prevent us from our First Amendment right. Hey, Trash, I was able to find one of the, they've got music playing now too. One of the people that was on the, I can't remember if it was the Sea Org form, the top document with all the names that had the day before, the day of, and the day after. I was able to connect them all the way back to Jeff McGee. And Jeff McGee was, in 2005, he and Randy Kretschmer were the first two humanitarian donors. A humanitarian donor is somebody who's donating $100,000. So they were the first two to donate the $100,000. Now, Minu is double humanitarian, and I found a page that had Minu and his wife. I'm going to say, I assume it was a wife. It could have been another. It was somebody he was hand in hand with, or arm in arm with. And they are double humanitarian, logically, $200,000. And there were 3 other pictures on that page where they had the double humanitarian frame around them. So that information's awesome. Eventually, we'll probably be able to start linking some of these names and faces together. Again, we're talking about a broad cross-section of time that from 2005 to now, almost 20 years. And some of these people would have been, naturally have slipped out of the organization or given up their this world body. Yeah, there were several that were public. And now there's also, let's see here, the couple that's getting married, that is Dream Exchange's son. Dream Exchange is Joe Cecala, Cecala. The senior is the founding member of Dream Exchange. And if you look at the Dream Exchange leadership team, 9 of their people have completed some form of Scientology courses. And then he's marrying Crystal. And Crystal was smart enough not to share her friends, but Joe shares his friends. Did you see me do that? Do you have any evidence of that? I no longer wish to engage in a consensual conversation. If you look all the way down to the bottom, you can still see the blue lights. So the cop car still parked there. Yeah, it was absolute gold. And yes, Joe's daddy owns that. If any of you went to the site and read the invitation, we met the first day at the front desk of the Ideal Org. And also Joe Jr. I don't know, Joe Jr., Joe the Third, Joe the Nth. He is the ED or executive director here, which again, I assume we are all supposed to feel poorly for Brianna now. Trashy, have you seen Brianna since? Oh, look, Scientology's down there talking to the cops. Trashy, have you seen Brianna since the new org opened? Yeah. She's been deposed. All right, they got out of the cage again. I'm going to cross the street here. So they're going across Polk, heading towards Dearborn. The officer did just roll down his window. Yeah, and this is something that I want to say that, hey, they're guilty by association, right? They're funding this. It's a cult. Es una secta. It's the cult of Scientology. They're not going to tell you they're Scientology, but it's a Scientologist. The first hit's free, then you pay retail for the rest of the time. Notice they can't even admit they're Scientology. Isn't that a shame? Doesn't that sound suspicious? They're going to hard sell you. It's like buying a timeshare. They won't let you out until you buy something. I like the color coordinated phone. That was kind of nice. Notice that they couldn't walk her or shepherd her all the way back. You don't want to go to the cult of Scientology today? It's a cult. It's the cult of Scientology. They're Scientologists. They're Scientologists. It's a cult of Scientology. Cult of Scientology. They won't tell you they're Scientology, but they're Scientology. I'm just out here crushing stats. If you've got $100,000, go ahead and take it. Es una secta. The cult of Scientology is about to hand you a flyer. It's a cult. The first hit's free, then you pay retail. So they're walking up Federal Street. There's a park in the middle of the street, which will let them jump over to Dearborn. 100%. And that's I'd really love if we get more and more people out here, and you don't even have to be filming. It's just, if you're behind them, telling them the same stories, we'll keep hearing that. Yeah, at first I thought it was very funny, right? On the stat of donations was 0, but then there's a likelihood that it's because the foundations pay, or the ideal org is paid off. Maybe that's not a big deal. Hey, Osa, don't forget to tell the police that I'm following at a very respectful distance. And I will let you pass out flyers all you want, but I'm going to tell everybody that you're the cult. It's a cult. It's a cult. Es una secta. It's Scientology. They won't tell you it's Scientology, but it's Scientology. May I have it? Because you don't want this. Trust me. Thank you so much. And they used to have a copyright in the bottom corner. Oh, now it does say Church of Scientology on the back now. Oh, and this isn't the personality test. This is the Dianetics, right? So they have 2 different, well, they probably have 1,000 different flyers. this particular flyer is the Dianetics. No, it's heavy grade paper. You wouldn't want to do that. It's a pretty heavy stock. The police are no longer here. Yeah, you know, I'm wondering if it's just that the stat is specifically for the ideal org, that, you know, they still have IAS. Is IAS the other huge foundational org, right? Or the place where all the donors have to go to, where we kind of hear about it. You'll go into, when they're trying to donate locally, the IAS members will stand outside the org, and inside, they're going to soak you for all the money. And then you come out, and IAS is going to say the same, hey, you gave them money, now give us money. And they're kind of that war chesty mechanism, right? They're the centralized funding. Yeah, it is. When I said it's like a timeshare, when you go to the Dells and they'll say, hey, if you come in here, we'll give you $50 in free ride tickets. Well, it turns out that it's a timeshare, and it's like, oh, that's cute, that's nice. Yeah, we'll just say no on the way out. It's a hard sell. I mean, they are really tough on that process. If you and there's a video about a year ago from Underground Bunker, and then Tori mentioned it recently that Spanky knew Rosie O'Donnell, and Rosie O'Donnell was starting to get interested in it because she kind of had a little crush on Tom Cruise. And Tori called her and said, listen, they're going to bring you in, they're going to put you in a meeting, and they're going to ask for money, and they're going to make it really hard for you to get out of there without spending any money. I'm going to see if they're going to go north of. Boy, they're just not that smart. I'm trying to keep my eyes on the one that they just passed the flyer out to. And I want to see if they go in. If they don't go in, then I got to follow them up the street. But yeah, look up Tori Magoo, Rosie O'Donnell, or as much as I would say that I wouldn't necessarily say he's a journalist, but Underground Bunker, Tony Ortega did about a year ago. There was a video with the title, YouTube title screen shows Tori and Rosie O'Donnell. So they're behind the dumpster right now. I might head over to that side of the street. Yep. Okay, so they went in back into the org. I want them to stop calling me the guy in the red coat and start calling me Stat Crusher. Do you hear that, Osa? I know you're not supposed to be able to ask for your own nicknames, but if you could just do me that one favor, I'd really appreciate it. I'm going to head back over to that side of the street. That security guard is very tall. No music right now, but I'm sure that they'll turn it back on pretty quickly. If I stand here, they'll have the security guard pull the close the doors. Yeah, no doubt. You know, I've said this before, and I just want to say I really appreciate that I'm seeing the same names in here over and over again, and I'm much more happy that we have an engaged crowd, and it makes me, well, it might be false, but it gives me the understanding that what I'm doing here is what you're looking for. So, um, got an interview with, oh yeah, so they did pull the music up a little bit. Uh, what they don't understand, they need Mark Headley to come out here and let them know that he's got a directional mic, that that music doesn't bother him at all. Thank you, Deja. I'm still mad at you because I saw what you said about Windy last night, or what you said about Trashy last night. He's your favorite. I'll get over it someday, but I'm sad right now. It's possibly might be my favorite too. I still so last if you who did the who does the clipping of the shorts? Utology, I think. Hey, Twyla. I think Utology is the one that puts those clips together, and he did put a clip together on the garbage raid, and then SRA and Trashy were out there again on a subsequent night, that other rainy night where, you know, God bless him for being out here. And they talked to that staff member who kind of guarded the garbage can for a while. What was I going to say about him? He's one that's tried to lure me away from the door several times. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. He, when Trashy interview or talks to him, say, "Hey, you want to go to lunch? We don't even have to talk about Scientology. You know it's a cult, and you're still going to go in." Look, I'm pretending that I'm lost. Oh wait, yep, hard left turn, hard left turn. NIL, here we come. NOL. When Trashy says, "Hey, let's just go out to lunch. We don't have to talk." How you doing? Here's a person who's happy to go home to his kids knowing that it supports a cult. He lets these people abuse children, abuse the elder, and he takes his check home every day. Blue Star Security. Leave the reviews. He also has a nice picture. Sorry, I keep on getting interrupted. The trash will say, let's just go to lunch. We don't have to talk about Scientology. And the day of the opening, what looked to be a Secret Service agent, and I'm sure it was one of Davey's security guys, was at the back door, and Trashy had him solo and basically was asking the same things, right? Yeah. You know, when they first came down here, I was like, you know what? I just want to be sitting in the restaurant one day and have them come in and have a conversation. Are you okay that they don't let women come forward and tell the police that they've been assaulted? You wore the badge at one point in time. What are you looking for? What are you looking for?
642.
He's right. Yep. So the college.
Oh. Thank you.
Yep. Yep. Oh, I wish I could hear what he's saying. very hard to talk on the phone when they've got the music blaring in his background. So he's got to go indoors. What's McPherson's first name? Was it Lori McPherson? Lisa McPherson. Thank you, Mr. Ramlett. All right. All right. Simmer down. Simmer down. Thanks for helping the dumb host. Let's head down to Polk. They've been in there for a bit. Take care, Mexican. Just checking to see if they squeezed out the back again. That was fun. Was it? Boy, it was just last week. I apologize. 10 days ago. No. It was this last weekend. On Saturday, April, 6th? I was here for maybe 11 hours. And in that entire time, at no point did they bring up the shades. And very seldom was the door open. They would open it, try to put the music on, then they'd close it again. They ended up, I'm sure they have a way to contact all of the staff members, and they were letting all the staff members know, hey, come in the alley entrance. So I finally figured out that, hey, there's nobody coming in here. The time of day, we should see some foot traffic. So I went back to the alley, and yeah, there's 10, 15 people in the alley trying to get in. And what's funny back there is that they can't walk in. That door is always locked. So it's, Mother, may I come in the church, right? No, they were going to the college. Got a car here in the alley. Might have his flashers on, not sure. Yeah, there's no action really down there. Yeah, absolutely correct. Now, there is a key lock, but I'm sure that key is, that very few people have that. Oh, and I never even thought about that in order to save not having to rekey that every time somebody blows, I'll bet it's really hard to get that key. We need to find an under the radar here who can get a copy of that key. Yeah. Was that like the manhole cover down to like the utility space? The police are back up by the org. So I'm sure they're going to get ushered in. I noticed the name Moxon in there, and Moxon is one of the people down here at Dream Exchange. And he's a lawyer that keeps on coming up whenever Aaron's doing a show. Yeah, thanks, Capital. That's what I meant. Yeah, so there's a Kendrick Moxon, but if you go to Dream Exchange and their executive team or About Us or Meet the Team, something like that, you'll see that there's a Moxon on that list as well. And maybe it's not as rare a name as I think it is. I don't. Very well.
You know they're calling about you reporting people. Okay?
Understand that. And
Make sure
and what's illegal about that?
nothing, but we just want to make sure that there's something else going on.
100%. 100%. And you'll notice that I keep on saying it here. Hey, police, when you review this, you'll notice that I'm staying 20 feet behind these people.
Yeah, I understand.
So they have a First Amendment right to pass out their flyers. I have a First Amendment right to tell everybody the information they're doing.
Exactly. I understand.
So
We just want to make sure.
I appreciate it.
Yep. We don't want anybody to get upset or something. So we just want to make sure everybody's fine. And,
is there a call out number on this?
No.
Okay. Can I have your name and badge number? Just I'll do it for you.
Officer Granados, car number 12044. Okay.
Granados 12044. Sorry, I'll
Just
record
be
it
careful,
later on.
okay?
I will.
Just be careful.
I will. I've been very. And ma'am, yours?
Officer Cervantes, 18335.
Cervantes 1835335. Sorry, 18335. Thanks.
No problem. Have a good one, okay?
I appreciate it. Yep. Take care. Thank you. Oops. Yes, always. I realized earlier that I was talking and I was reminding myself what that was. I know they told you not to listen to me, but that's the cult of Scientology. They just gave you the entry to the cult of Scientology. Cult of Scientology, just so you know. Just so you know, it's the cult of Scientology. Yep. Elder abuse, child abuse, Danny Masterson, Lisa McPherson. Look it up. Nothing but crimes in this place. You know what? I've got to get better about that too. That I feel like I'm always trying to put the element out there and say, hey, don't bother me. But just to say, hey, you realize what they're doing, right? Look up Lisa McPherson. Look up Lisa McPherson. Look up Danny Masterson. This church is full of elder abuse, child abuse, financial frauds. They won't let their rape victims talk to the police. They're the ones that they kept Danny Masterson's victims from reporting to the police for 20 years. They'll separate families. They'll take your family, take them out of the jurisdiction in case there was a sexual assault, but that's what they're out here trying to do. Look up Lisa McPherson and Danny Masterson. Do you guys like human trafficking? Is that okay? Is human trafficking okay? Is it okay that women can't report their sexual abuses? Is it okay that Lisa McPherson died at the hands of Scientology? All right, if they go indoors, I think I am going to head back towards the house, get me some dinner. Yeah, that's at the end of the day, all I can really do is inform and let people make decisions. My hope is one day the gold vests will start looking this up too. All right, I'm going to hand off to the next team. What a shame. What a shame. So Publix on course. You know what? I don't remember seeing the car come by. Excellent. All right, folks. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut it short here. I'm going to walk by the door once again just to kind of make sure they stay inside. But if we can head over and help Eric, that'd be great. We're going to hear plenty of music right now. Yep. So I'm going to head out. Trash, if you or SRA come back down tonight, let me know. Nance, Shannon, Horn. And again, no obligation. Just, it is more helpful the more we have down here. Thank you, Deja. All right, what do you guys want to see? You know what? We never go through the train station. We're going to head down Harrison towards the old post office. The protesting part of tonight is over. Now, Windy walks the Windy City. The street that's 1 block north of us, so the street that's 1 block north of the church is Harrison, so we're at Harrison right now. The next street up is, it used to be called Congress Expressway, but it had a name change a few years ago, Ida B. Wells. Ida B. Wells was an activist for women's rights. I think she was a suffragette. And Ida B. Wells and Jane Addams and Hull House kind of crossed paths as well. So they were just badass women in their day. Hi. Look who we found. I love this. Have you noticed that the stickers have worn off the gentleman's shoes? All right. So wait, where were we at? Ida B. Wells, strong woman. If you ever want to just read a cool story or a biography, I would definitely encourage you to look up Ida B. Wells, Jane Addams, and the Hull House. And they were around when we had the shopping barons and the landowner barons here in Chicago. This is the back of the courthouse, so this is the sally port for where they bring people that have to come in from detention centers. This is how that door is how they get in there. We're on Harrison walking towards Wells Street. So what's really fun and interesting here is this is where Wells meets Wells in Chicago. The first street, the other side of the bridge, is Financial Place. If you look forward, you can see some cranes in the middle of the street there. The trains go underneath. That very large building is the old post office. It's now a massive office space with Uber, Pepsi, Walgreens, a couple of banks. One of the exchanges is in there. But the train from Union Station, which is 2 blocks north of that, runs underneath that building. And this street was being torn up. And while it's torn up, you can see down into the train. So the trains go underneath you at that point in time, and you can see them. Hello, no one. Hey, I'm going to email you tonight, no one. Yeah, at that point, I think that they were kind of just missions. By the 80s, there was the Lakeview, and there were probably a few other missions. And then, as Tori tells it, that back in the day, public Scientologists might just invite people over for tea and crackers, and they would talk about Scientology. And that's how that would start in that space. So, an interesting fact, the Ida B. Wells Expressway, it goes underneath the post office, and it also goes underneath the stock exchange building. So, if you look up here, we've got the Chicago Stock Exchange, and the cars are going right underneath it. And then I'm going to walk up to the platform. This is a Metro. These are the regional trains. You can't get an Amtrak from here. You have to go over to Union Station or to Ogilvie Travel Center to get that. But these are the regional trains that take you out to all of the suburbs, to the far edges of the city, and then the suburbs beyond there. This is a neat old train here. Oh, and it's got a sky deck on it. I've never seen this here. It says it's a charter, so I wonder if this is sort of like the old Pullman type stuff where you just hook your train up to the car. But you can see the sky deck back there. Very cool. I love that. All right, folks, I am going to end the stream right now. Hopefully everybody would have already traveled over to Eric's screen or to Denver. But you all have a great night, and I will see you again soon.